Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be doing the Getting Started with ShareFile webinar today. Agenda for today are going to be the following items here. And let's start the demo. Okay, so first thing is getting logged into ShareFile. So you should first of all receive an email invite from a colleague or a ShareFile admin to log into your ShareFile account. So it'll look something like this. And you're going to activate your account, which will take you to the ShareFile account. And if you look at the top, you're going to see webinardemo.sharefile.com. That webinar demo section, that's going to be the subdomain of your ShareFile account. And that's a good thing to remember in case you need to log back into your ShareFile again. Okay, so let me go ahead and set a password here. Okay, and then once you set your password, you might be asked to set up a two-factor authentication, and that's going to be available via a phone number through text or voice call. Okay, and once you're logged in, this is what it's going to look like. And if you can't remember your subdomain, a good thing to do is just go to sharefile.com. And at the top corner, you're going to see login. And from here, you can do don't know your account subdomain. And this will send you a email to validate your subdomain, your ShareFile subdomain. Now, if you need to reset your password or just change your password, there's a few ways to do it. Once you're logged in, you can go into the personal settings here and change your password here. Or if you're on the login page, you don't remember your password, you can always go through the forgot password option here at the bottom right. All right. So let's go back to the dashboard here. So if you have an employee license for ShareFile, it's going to look, your ShareFile page is going to look more like this here. And you're going to have all the most common features here on the right-hand side, recent files here, and some tutorials there. And if you need to, you can always edit the dashboard to do different kind of options. And then on the left-hand side, you see the different kind of folders that are available to you. You have personal folders, shared folders. Shared personal folders are going to be for personal projects or personal items that you don't need to share with colleagues. And shared folders is where you want to be doing primarily your most of your work. Favorited items, if you have any third-party integrations, you'll also see that here too. And then you'll see other functions here. If you have the premium version of ShareFile, you'll see projects, workflows, and signatures. In your inbox, you're going to see all the items that you've received in the past. So if somebody else sent you some files, uploaded some files to you, or you sent out ShareFile links, then you can see those in the inbox. And then the people section is going to be more of an administrative part where you can see the different employees, clients in your account, recent welcome emails. Those are features that you might not see if you're not an admin on the ShareFile account. All right, so let's go back to the dashboard and let me show you how to send and request files quickly through ShareFile. So if you need to generate a link to ask somebody to download a file, you can go to the Share Files section here, and you can drag files directly into this box to upload it, or you can select from ShareFile and just select the item. That's what we're gonna do here. Now, once you're on this page, you can go ahead and create a link like so. or you can send it to specific people. And this method here is to provide additional security where the users have to sign in order to download the file, and the user is automatically provisioned into the ShareFile account. So here in the search bar, you can look for already existing users like like Cord I added just a few minutes ago. Or if you wanted to, you can just add new users, right? New user at sharefile.com, doesn't find the users, and then it's going to go ahead and create them when you send it off. Now, if you look at the edit options, you have additional, well, let me go back, actually to the link options. Okay, so if we go to the link, you have the edit options here, and you'll see we'll have different functions such as edit, download, view. We're going to select download. And then for authentications, we have client employee users and employee users sign in required. Now, some accounts might also have additional options in here for anonymous, or anybody can download the files without login. And then finally, we also have an expiration period for the link itself. You can also be notified when the file has been downloaded as well via a ShareFile email. Okay, so that is the share link. Now, if we wanted to request a user to upload a file, you'll go to request files here. You'll have the option to select a specific folder within ShareFile. And then again, the option to create a link or send to a specific user. And the settings are going to be very similar to the share option that we just looked at. So for example, if we go here, edit option, we have anyone, public, client logins, employee logins required, as well as an expiration. Okay, so now let's review folder access. So again, in the shared folders is where you're going to be primarily using, primarily doing most of your work for any kind of collaborative work, right? So I've got this reports folder. I want to share it out to Cord. So what I'm going to do is go to the people section here at the top. I'm going to hit add people to folders, and then just type in either Cord's name or the email address to search for the user. And then from here on the right-hand side, I can select the specific permission that Cord can receive on the folders. You can also select to add the permissions to any existing subfolders. And if the user doesn't exist within ShareFile, you do also have the option to create the new user directly from here. And again, the user will receive an email notification from ShareFile to activate their ShareFile account. So let me just go ahead and add Cord here. All right, once the user is added, you'll see the user here. And to modify the permission, again, it's super simple. You just remove the check boxes and then you hit save. All right, from here, I'm going to hand it over to Cord, and he's going to go over some of the e-sig options.
Hey, everybody. So yeah, what we're going to look at next is our e-signature feature. So on your sidebar, you should see the signatures function. I will note this is a premium account feature. So if you're on an advanced or standard plan, you will not see this. But for our premium customer, our premium license users, over here, you'll see the signatures. And this will let you send and receive documents for signature. So all you need to do is click signature requests. And then in the top right, just do create signature request and send for signature. All right, we're just going to use this mostly blank document here. Just an example, we forgot to upload our form here. So you can use any .doc or even a notepad file or a PDF. You can just upload the file here. And then the next step is you're going to be putting your recipients on here. So use myself.
You can use yourself, or we have
The test. Okay, yeah. So we'll go ahead and use this test email here. And this will be our signer. If you want, you can add additional recipients, and then you can assign them additional signer roles. And if you have multiple users, you can set a signing order so that signer 1 would have to sign before signer 2 even gets the document. We're just going to use the one signer here. And then at the bottom right, all we have to do is click next step. So that's just going to put our document here. Unfortunately, right now it's blank, but you could have any number of fields. This could be a tax form, or just like a simple onboarding form for your organization, whatever you want to use. And then over on the left, we have a number of different fields we can add. The primary one is going to be this signature field. And this will be what the user actually puts their signature in. You can adjust the size as needed for that. And then you'll have other things like an initials field. You can do a date field over here to capture the day it was signed or any other sort of date that's needed. And then we also have just plain text forms. So if you're just collecting account data like somebody's name, you can also create drop downs. So if you want to drop down with a list of states, for example, or any other sort of information, you can also do checkboxes. The first one here is just a standard binary checkbox. It's either checked or unchecked. We also have a checkbox group. So if you have a number of options that they can select from, you can use that. If you do have a checkbox group and you need to add additional ones, all you have to do is click the plus here, and then you can move them all separately. So you can organize them where you need them placed on the field. And especially with checkbox groups over here, you can see your options. You could have it set for only a single checkbox, or they could be able to check multiple of that group. So it's good to be aware when you're creating a checkbox group of that. You'll also have other options such as require field on these. So if it's required, then before the user can continue, they have to have completed that field. And then as well, the last option over here is attachments. So if you had to collect like a picture of their ID or any sort of other documents as part of the signing process, you could do an attachment field and they'll have to do an upload for that. If you ever need to remove a field at the bottom here on your options, just click remove field and it'll take it off the document. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to remove these checkboxes. We'll just do a simple name and signature. So we just go to next step now. We'll leave just the name as the same for here. Once the document's signed, it will be uploaded to one of your folders on your account. This can be either somewhere in personal folders, or if you want, you could choose somewhere in shared folders. So we could go here, choose this contracts folder, for example, and hit select. So that once that document's completed, it's going to be uploaded back to this contracts folder. If you would like, you can even put a personalized note. So if you have any special instructions or reminders that you want to include when sending this document, you can add that in here. You can then also set the expiration for the document. So if you only wanted them to have a week to sign this, you could put 7 in here and it would give you the expiration date for 7 days from now. If you want to add additional security, you could use a passcode. This 5-digit passcode will have to be provided separately from the email that the signature process is going to send out. So you could text it to them, send it in a separate email, however you wanted to provide that to them. We're going to leave that off for now. And then we also have knowledge-based authentication. This is primarily for tax documents, but it will gather information from online databases about a user based on like where they lived. They'll have to verify through previous addresses, other information like that. And once they verify that information, it'll work. This is primarily also only usable or supported through the US. So it won't really work with Canadian users or users from like Europe or anywhere else. So it's primarily a US thing. All right, so we're going to go ahead and send our signature request here. So jump back over to our inbox here. And as we can see, we got the notification to sign that document. So we come in here, it'll be review and sign. So we just open that up. It's going to give us some pointers here on how to sign this as a first-time user. So that red flag it's going to show is going to be what we need to complete as required fields, and then also how far our progress is at the bottom. So as we can see, the red fields point to this text box, so we can just go with name here. And then it's going to bring up the signature. So you can either drag and draw your signature, or you can come to the bottom if you need to and do a typed signature. So you can just type that in there. And then you'll just do apply. And then for date, we can do the date. All right. So now we can see I put my name, signature, date. Everything's good. Come down here to the bottom and just do submit signature. It's going to provide some key terms of use, the e-sign consent form, all that legal information that a user may want to look at. And then once they click submit, the document will be completed. Users can easily come up here to the top and download a copy of their document. It's still currently processing, but we'll jump into that in a second. But yeah, they can download the original without any signatures or the completed signed document. You'll also see here the signature certificate. This is going to have all the information about IP address and everything that makes it a valid e-signature document. And then if we jump back over to our main account here and come back and see my document here, now that it's completed. And again, everything as an admin or as the sender, I can see here. And I can also download that file if I want. So the original is just going to be the blank document without any fields completed. Then we have the completed document, the signature certificate by itself, or a combined version of the completed document and the signature certificate. So you have a number of options on how to download that. But also remember, this file was automatically uploaded back to this contracts folder. And as we can see, it now has the document name, the signer name, and then the signed certificate. So we know that is a combined signer signed document and certificate, and that Cord was the one who completed that document. And if we click on that, we can see the whole file. That is how to use our e-signature feature basics. We do have a couple other options you can do. We're not going to do a full demo of those today, but if you want to send to a large number of people, you can do a bulk send. And each user will get their own copy of that document to sign, but you can send it to a large number of users at once. You can also sign documents yourself, and that'll basically take out the whole sign it or put fields on it and sign it, and you just do all that as one step. All right. The last couple of things we wanted to look at here were the personal settings. So if you go to settings on your left sidebar and you go to personal settings, you can see here you have your name, your and company information. So you can ever update that if you ever need to. As Tepe showed earlier, you also have the ability to change your password here. If multiple email addresses are enabled for your account, you can add an alternate one here or multiple alternate ones. And once you have verified that email address shown by that second column there with the checkbox, you can also make a primary email address for another one. The primary is where all your notifications will go. So if for whatever reason you have multiple email addresses and you want to put them all in the same account, you can do that. But the primary is where the notifications will go. If your admin has added you for security threat notifications, you'll be able to modify your notifications here. And then also you have your email notifications. So normally when a file is uploaded or downloaded and you're subscribed to notifications for that activity, you will get an email every time it happens. You can also change that email frequency to, instead of it being in real time, you could do every 15 minutes. So you get one single email with all that activity every 15 minutes it happens, or every hour, or however often you want to set that. And then at the very bottom here, you have your time and date. So you can come in here and update your time zone. So everything in your emails is dated concurrent to whatever time zone you're working out of. The other options we have here are personal security. If you are an admin, you'll have the change security question option, but most users will not see that. You also have your two-step verification. As you can see, it's currently not enabled on this user. Every user has the option to enable two-step verification. All you have to do is click that. It's going to ask for a phone number and then verify that phone number. Once you verify that phone number, you will have the option to add additional phone numbers. So if you have an office landline you want to add in addition to your cell phone number, you could do that. You could then also add an authenticator app. So if you have Google Authenticator, for example, or a Microsoft Authenticator, you could add that, and then you could use that instead of waiting for a text to come through. You can also, and I always recommend this, is you'll have backup codes you can request. And that will give you a set of 10 backup codes. You can print them out or save them somewhere safe. And then if you ever lose your phone or an authenticator app, you can easily go back in and then reset up whatever your new phone number may be. And then if you have personal cloud connectors set up on your account, if your admin's giving you access to them, you can come to My Connectors to set those up. And if for whatever reason you want to see where you're logged in at on your account, so as you can see, Tepe has been logged into a lot of different tools on his, but you can always come in here and see any of those, and you can come in and revoke that access. So if you did lose your phone and you use ShareFile on your phone, you can come in here and disconnect that to prevent that data from being accessible from your phone anymore. All right. And the last point we wanted to touch on is our desktop apps and mobile apps. So if you come to the top right corner here and click apps, you will be directed to, if you're on a Windows machine, you'll be dropped on the apps for Windows. If you're on a Mac, you'll be dropped on apps for Mac. But we have two main applications here is ShareFile for Windows. What this does is it will mount your ShareFile drive as a drive in your File Explorer. So you can do all your ShareFile work directly from your desktop without having to come into the website. So you can share, request, upload, download everything directly from your desktop. It's really great. And then we also have our ShareFile for Outlook. This will let you, if you have if you're using Outlook, you can send and request files as part of sending an email. It will drop those links in, and then users will automatically get that attachment. This is especially great if you have a higher or lower limit on what your email software lets you send. So if you can only send up to 10 megabytes as an attachment, if you have a larger attachment, you can have ShareFile send it. It'll upload it all to ShareFile and create that link and send it for you. And we have ShareFile for Mac as well. And then we also have our mobile apps here. So if you want to use ShareFile on your iPhone or your Google phone, you can get both those apps from the web store. That'll let you upload, download files directly from your phone. All right, and I think we're gonna jump back over to Tepe and get into our Q&A.
Thanks, Gord. All right, so let's jump into our Q&A now. Allison, how's that looking?
Looking great. I think some of the more common ones are just going over sharing a file again. And then I think the important thing to note is like sharing a file with somebody that doesn't already have access to your ShareFile account, and how you would go about showing that. So sharing a lot with external agencies, do they have to share the file to ShareFile first, and how does that all work?
Okay, so yeah, if you're sending a file, you do have to upload it into ShareFile, right? So I mean, now you can pick locations to where it goes. So earlier I showed, the personal folders, shared folders. I didn't really touch on the file box, but so the file box is a storage location you can use as a temporary storage. So when you go to, for example, the share files, and you drag a file into this box here, it's going to automatically go into file box as temporary storage. Let me see if I can find a file real quick. Okay, so yeah, see, it's uploading the file. And once it's finished uploading, I'll be able to generate that link. So I have that link. And when I go to view it, it's gonna look like this. So you'll see the file, you'll have the download option. And if you go back to your ShareFile account, you'll see that the file is now residing in that file box with an expiration period.
That's great. So then, so yeah, so the file box can store those quick one-off sends. If you have something in a folder, right, you can just select it and send.
Right. Yeah, and so like we showed earlier in the reports folder, if we wanted to send these folders or files to any specific person, you've got these checkboxes, and you again have that share option, and can create the links, send to specific people, and have expiration periods here as well too. And these are specific to the links.
Yep. So just basically how you want to share it. If it's already on ShareFile, or if you think you're going to have to share it multiple times, it might make sense to throw it in a folder and then share. But you can always use those dashboard shortcuts as well. The next question was about templates. How do you create a template of multiple folders for clients to download or upload files to? You want to cover that? It might be more of an admin thing, but we can touch on it for sure.
That's going to be an admin setting. So you'll want to check with your ShareFile admins to see if you have permissions to do this. But under the advanced preferences, you might see folder templates in here. And so we have this one already created, and you can create a folder template like this. And what you can do is you can apply that to a specific folder. So let me just, let's select the clients folder here. And apply.
That one applies it to those subfolders of that folder. So you don't have anything. We don't buyer's agreement.
Okay, so if I go back to that buyer's agreements folder, then
No contracts, properties.
yeah, so now we have contracts and properties. We have the documents and media content, and you can see that the previous files are still there. I also can't delete these.
No, no, it lets you.
Wait, why did it let me go?
I think it's because you deleted the whole thing. Go to the recycling for the folder.
Yeah, okay. Let me just double check here.
Delete the folders that the template created.
Oh, these?
No, the ones with the folders template. Go into contracts.
Okay.
So now try to delete one of those.
Oh, yeah,
folders.
sorry. Yeah.
Those are the folder
Okay.
files that want you to delete.
Yeah, okay, so yeah. So the folders that are associated with the folder template will not be able to be deleted.
And then if you go to more options, you can show where the folder template association is.
Right, so if you go into the advanced folder settings, here you can see that there's a folder template associated with it. So you can remove the folder template, save, and then now the folders are still there, but you can delete it.
That's also where you add a folder template for a single folder at a time.
Right, yeah.
I always recommend folder templates if people are doing like annual folders within folders. So if you have like a client folder and then you have the year, right? Like, so you have 2020, 2021, 2022. If you use a folder template for that to apply to all your client folders, and then every year a new year happens, right? So all you have to do to add that additional year folder in all of your client folders is to go to that folder template, add in 2024, and it'll apply to every folder that has that folder template applied. It makes it a lot easier.
Yep.
I think Cord, you marked one to answer live, which is a really common one from Diana about how to get a link to added to your email signature so people can upload files to you. You guys want to answer that one?
Yeah, so let's go back to the dashboard. So you're going to use the request files option here. And you'll want to pick a location, right? I would not select the file box just because it is kind of like a temporary storage location. You could do like the personal folder and do the get a link option. And when you go and just review the details here.
You always want to make sure you set the access expires if you're putting one in your signature link to never.
Yeah,
Otherwise, every 6 months or whatever it ends up set to, you have to come in and fix it.
yeah.
So I always recommend for setting up a signature link, make sure you set it to never.
And then on here, you want to make sure either you use the anyone public or anyone public with a name and email address.
Name and email is usually the best option. That way
Right.
you don't have to have already set up an account for them, and they are having to enter information so you know where that file came from.
And then once you have the link here, you can copy this link into your email signature and modify it as you need.
Yeah, usually on your email signature, what you'd want to do is do something like click here to request files and then put a hyperlink on that and use the link you got from ShareFile.
Yeah.
If you are using our Outlook plugin or our Gmail plugin, once you insert that link, you can just copy that and it'll usually already be formatted that way for you, and you can paste that into your signature that way. But if you aren't using one of our email apps, just hyperlink whatever text you want it to say and use the link as the hyperlink part of that.
Yeah. That's great. That's something that a lot of our customers do. And I think it kind of answers your question, Stephanie, too, about she had an external user. She want them to upload files to her. So that is a twofer. There is a question from Patricia to talk about the projects feature. Again, projects is a premium ShareFile feature, so you may or may not see it in your left nav, but Tepe, do you just want to just cover what's in there and why you would use that?
Yeah, so projects is a new feature of ours, and you can use it to basically manage your collaboration with your clients or your coworkers. So for example, I'll do, tax prep, and you can do, for example, a document request, right? So I can do tax prep. I can add a user here. So let me go ahead and add Chords user again. And he's going to be just a client user. You can modify the permissions here too, but I'm just going to do client. And from here, I can do tasks such as, review documents, and when I write such things as like review documents, I can again assign it to Cord with a due date. So let's say by the end of the month, I want this. So I can say it shows that this not started process, right? So I can build as many of these tasks as I want. And once I'm ready to publish this, I can then go in here and share it. Wasn't that here, or was that the document request? I'm thinking document requests. I can create a document request and like 1099 request and due date, and March 31st. And so it shows as a draft. And then, so let's see, back in here. Can you tell that I haven't really reviewed this one yet? So, geez, or do you remember where I publish it?
I thought it was on the last.
It's new for a lot of us. I think you have to request an item, Tepe, and then, or like add an item. So like a document request would be like a list of things that you
An
need
item.
from somebody.
Yeah.
The most common thing would be like an accountant who needs like all these forms, like a
Yeah.
1099. Then the client can then upload it to that place, and then the user can then either approve or deny or reject. Like, you know, sometimes clients will upload the wrong thing, and we can say, this isn't right, redo. I think you need a file actually uploaded to see that part of it, Tepe, but I think it's basically a big collaboration space for bigger projects and really complex back and forth file management.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay, there we go. So now it shows that the request is open and it's assigned to Cord, and you can upload the requested documents. So it's just a way, like Allison said, to manage your client interactions and such.
Yep.
And this is pretty new.
Mhm.
So we are still releasing a lot of features for this. So you should see some updates in the coming months.
Yeah, good stuff. We are planning on doing a webinar series on projects, so be on the lookout for that too. Alice had a question, what protections do I have when people upload their files using the link? I think going back to the request a file link, when the files are like uploaded to her, how is that secure and protected and validated?
Well, there's a few ways. So ShareFile has its own virus scan. So if they find that like the file is malicious, it'll flag it, and only administrators will be able to download that file if needed. Employees will not be able to download that content anymore. It goes into a quarantine section within ShareFile. We also have threat detection. So if you go, and again, this is more of an admin kind of thing, but let's say I'm looking at John's account here, and John received I get a notification that there's some malicious files that John has been uploading. Then I can go into the activity and security alert section, and you should see it in here too. Another thing with the threat detection, you can have it set so the admins, the employees, and a client user can receive those notifications, so that the end users can take actions on those as well too.
Yeah, trying to keep it easy to use, but also secure at the same time. Always a goal of ours. Oh, Anonymous asked, can we go over how the add URL feature works in folders, shared folders? Is there a specific format that must be used when creating the custom URL? So I don't know if this is like adding a URL, you know, when you go, folders, either one. And then inside a folder and the plus mark, there's add URL option. Create URL. This can be any URL, right, Tepe?
It can really be any URL you want. So, let's see, like, I'll do ShareFile docs. So we haven't talked about that yet, but I don't know what we need to do. But docs.sharefile.com, and then you just hit save. And so now you've got a link here to a website. You click on it, and it goes directly to the associated link. So you could literally just set it to even
be your organization's homepage.
Yeah, websites, any kind of specific documentation that you have.
YouTube videos.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's one of the underutilized feature of ShareFile, I think, in my opinion, especially if you're doing like a client folder or something, that would be really helpful. Denise has one of my favorite questions. She's asking, so there are two types of admins, correct? The company level admin and the file folder admin. And I guess that's a good way to think about it. I don't know, maybe we go into a little bit,
yeah,
about
so
like an account admin versus a folder admin and what their different, abilities are.
yeah, the way I kind of describe it is like a system admin and then a content admin, right? So the system admin would be somebody that can manage the ShareFile account, set all the administrative settings here with like regards to minimum security, login credentials, those kind of things. But then, you know, for your ShareFile content, the files and folders, then those are going to be managed by, let's say, project owners or department heads and such. So that is going to be the folder admins. So again, when I'm in these folders, these users that have the admin permission next to them, that is going to be the so-called content admin. And the super user group that you see here, that is a group of users that have access to all files and folders on the ShareFile account. So that group of set of users can be completely separate than, let's say, the system admins.
No, I think that makes a lot more sense. Alrighty, looks like we still got some questions coming in. Karen has, when I share a file or folder with an external agency, will they have to sign in and create an account in order to download the information? Ooh, this is a good one too. And the answer is it depends, right? So we can kind of show
Cord, do you want to take this one, or I can take it too?
You go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, again, it depends. So it really depends on the security settings that you want to choose, right? Or how you want to share the documents. So, you know, if you're collaborating with a third-party company or like another business, ideally you want to use a folder. So you can use that folder and send people who are associated with that business an invite into ShareFile with login credentials to access just the folder, right? Or if it's just kind of a one-time interaction with those businesses, then you can do just a link, which we can have anonymous access or login required. One thing I didn't talk about, so if you, let's say you're doing content that needs to be shared out, but also needs to be secured, right? You just don't know who those user base might be. You can also do what's called a folder invite. So basically this will create a invite to the folder with specific credentials. So for example, just view only. And then you can set a maximum number of invitations. And so when you create this, then now you have a link where users can go to sign up for access to that folder. That way, they still can navigate to the folder securely with login credentials, but it's not a one-time link that you're generating through ShareFile.
another underutilized feature, I would say, for sure. Looks like the questions are kind of slowing down. Another one from Denise is the owner of a folder a super user on that folder, or is a super oh yeah, let's talk about super user, or sorry, let me finish her question. Is the owner of the folder a super user on the folder, or is a super user only designated by the account admin?
So I would not use the term super user there. So what I would say is the owner of the folder is an admin on the folder. And again, a super user is someone who has access to every file and folder on the ShareFile account, right? An owner, so let's say, let's go back. I'm sorry?
Just go to people.
Yeah. So here it shows Ricardo is the owner of the folder. So I can't remove him as an admin because he's the owner. Now he's not a he doesn't need to be a super user in order to have these permissions logged out. He just happens to be the person that created this folder or owns this folder.
And then the super user group itself is a special distribution group across the whole account that the admin, the account admins can add users to.
Yeah.
Usually other admins primarily, and then they can have access to all the other folders on the account.
Yeah, like for example, an auditor would be a good example of a super user
Yeah.
group.
But yeah, usually every folder will have an owner and a super user. Sometimes the owner is also a super user, but it doesn't have to be. Any employee user can create a folder and become an owner.
Yep, exactly. Looks like we're, oh, there's more questions. Every time I'm like, oh, there's not that much left. We still got more and we've got time. So this is your webinar. So we just want you guys to learn. Patricia asked, quick and easy one. Can you have subfolders in project files? So, no, not right now. If you're speaking of like the projects, like section and that new feature of ShareFile, no, there's no subfolders or even real folder structure in there. It's, you know, structured by project. And you can structure it by like by actual project. I know a lot of customers have it by like client users. A lot of law firms have it by cases. So they have like a case number as a whole project and it's just encompassed in there. So it's really what works best for your business and industry. But I've been, you know, we are developing that feature. So I've been posting some of your guys' questions directly to our product manager so that he's aware, you know, kind of what the interest level is and what kind of features you guys are looking for in there.
I saw
then-
another, oh, sorry, Allison.
Yeah, I bet we're about to do the same thing. Brooke's
Okay. Yeah, I saw a question from Brooke about giving permissions based on groups.
Mhm.
So if I'm in this folder here and I wanted to add multiple users at once, right? There's a section called distribution groups here, and you can create a user group here. So I'm just gonna say, let's say business A. And I'm gonna share this with all my employees. And then I can add from Excel sheet or add new user. So let's just do, I'll add a few people here. It's not how you spell Ricardo. And let's record. So I've got 2 users here. I want to share the entire client's folder with those 2 users. I can go right here.
Click the address book. Click the address book here. No, back in. Yeah, just click address book. And then top in the next to search bar.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Then you can start by distribution groups.
yeah. And then if you click the address book here, you can search by distribution groups. And then just hit add. And then you can also, again, provide the permissions there.
Yeah. Brooke said, awesome, thank you.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty much it. We can wrap it up. Oh, Stacy, I just saw your comment. She's the master admin and she doesn't see this option. I would just double check with our support team. Do you want to just cover that, Tepe, our help center page and how to contact or as like a rounding off of the end of the webinar.
Yeah, so we also have some additional resources here. So if you need to open a support ticket or just talk with a support agent, just support.sharefile.com. And then in the bottom, you'll see chat with us. And then you can talk to one of our support agents to get the answers that you need. We also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/sharefile. And has all the past webinars that we've had, any new features, yeah. And then finally, our documentation at docs.sharefile.com.
So yeah, whether you want to learn via video, read about it, or talk to somebody, we've got all of the different learning styles covered for you. So happy to have everybody join today, and we truly appreciate your time, appreciate your business. Thank you for being ShareFile customers, and thank you to Tepe and Cord for this presentation.